If it hurts, you ain't the brakes, no get you know it up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win it. Press you again, here's where the breaks are made. Carry the body, keep it there for 60 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. They said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
The culture that Hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standard is to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama. Don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
What is going on? Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. He's Coach Jay. He's on the road live on location. Hopefully we don't have internet issues, but hey, we're going to get through this thing. It's a Friday morning. One more sleep until the third Saturday in October. Man, a game with a lot on the line for both teams. Like somebody said, I don't think there's much on the line here, Boogie. Why are you over-exaggerating? You don't, because if you lose tomorrow to Alabama, your college football playoff hopes, they're gone. They're over. Pack them up and send them home, and let's get ready for 2025. Everything is on the line tomorrow afternoon in Neyland Stadium. It's an orange out. Wear your orange, not your black and gold. Wear your orange tomorrow afternoon. Where's your confidence at, Coach Jay? You confident going into this thing?
I feel good, man. I feel good. I feel like there's a little bit of a nervous, understandably so, energy in Knoxville. But look, man, I think a lot of people realize, talking to a lot of people on the street, that this team, they feel close. You know what I mean? They haven't clicked, but it feels like they can click. And that's encouraging to all Vol fans. I know the defense is obviously humming, doing its thing, finely tuned engine. We can get a couple of these big plays to click. We can get this run game jump started early. Maybe a little help zone read with Nico. I think we can be all right.
Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Come on in, smash the thumbs up as you do. You guys know what to do. Smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. Let people know we're live right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Matt Begley's in the house. He says tomorrow's the 2-year anniversary of a broken tailbone and Jalen running all over Bama. Well, Wednesday was the 2-week anniversary of what I perceive to be a broken tailbone. We are surviving somehow, some way. We are going to get through this together. Preston Porter's in the house talking about Dalton Connect last night, absolutely lighting it up. Melanie Simmons is here, says we don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. Carl's in the house. Chuck Maines is here. What's up, Chuck? Always good to see you in the chat. A City says, man, we got to get the Morgan Wallen intro back. Do you want me to give you the secret? Do you guys want to know the behind the scenes of how you get that Morgan Wallen intro? You got to show up, show out, and show love. I mean, you got to flood the chat with super chats so that I know, hey, I'm going to be okay not making any money on this stream with ad revenue. So today we went with the old school. It's starting to grow on me a little, but that Morgan Wallen intro definitely hits different. A City tried. He dropped a $20 super chat. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the dang clip for A City if I can find it. Where'd it go? There it is.
Rocky Top!
A Stiddy for 20 says, I've got a 2022 feeling. I think we're going to be in for a thriller. Let's start off with an orange spot and hearing Pat dropping that 8-ball emoji. I was, as I do on Friday mornings, I roll on over to Locked On Vols and see who's hating on me in the comment section. And apparently I'm trying to carry water for this offense. I'm defending this offense. I've got something at stake here that I've got to defend. No, I think we could see some fireworks tomorrow in Neyland Stadium. Tyler Harrison for 10. I think we have a good chance against Bama. They have not looked good, and we are playing at home. And did you see what the Bama head coach said? Buck, Bama, go Vols. And thank you, Boogie, for all that you do. Well, thank you, Tyler. Appreciate the super chat. Those comments from Kalen DeBoer were not true. That was AI, and the AI fooled one person who then made just a picture of it with the quote, and that is what took off like wildfire. But he didn't say that. But, hey, I don't think Neyland Stadium, I don't think our fan base needs an excuse to show up tomorrow and get a little rowdy on the 3rd Saturday of October. Appalach Han Adventures, been a member for 23 months. We appreciate that. Big Trey for 250 says Dorfy, 250 for us being a 2.5 home dog. Dumb. I don't know, man. I think this thing's a shootout. I think it's a pick'em, which I guess maybe Tennessee should be the 2.5 favorite. Joshua Wall becomes a member. Shout out, Joshua. We appreciate you. Also, Derek Manning becomes a member. We're giving away a free shirt every month to one of the members of the channel throughout the course of the season. So we appreciate those memberships, and we want to give a little something back to you guys. We appreciate it. Timothy McGee for 5. I would give you one guess, Coach Jay. You don't even need to look up. What do you think Timothy's super chat says?
Probably something about less option routes, something like that, right?
Less option routes, more timing routes, and short routes. Shout out, Timothy. We appreciate you, brother. Charlie Kaufman for 2. Tip in the tip jar. Boogie, GBO, Buck Fama. Well, thank you, Charlie. We appreciate it. Tom's been a member for 22 months, even though it's become my new thing is just to harass Tom. Anytime he speaks, I harass him. But he keeps coming back. He said it was 20 years ago this weekend that I watched UT beat Alabama for the 10th time in 12 years. Let's get back to that right there, Buck Fama. It is a rivalry of streaks. So maybe we can turn this thing back around. Good old Nate Pruitt's in the house for 10. Cover charge Boogie. Howdy, Coach Jay. Howdy, Vols fam.
Howdy.
God bless and go Vols. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate you, brother. Sean Cross is here for 5. Good morning, everyone. Get your cigars. Coach Jay, you're down in Knoxville. We're going to get into that in just a second, but did you find some cigars yesterday?
I am hunting cigars today. I will be out there looking. I got a couple good recommendations for spots. So Coach Jay might have to pick me up a couple stogies depending on which spot tickles my fancy. But looking forward to it. Yeah, man. Looking forward to buying that Victory stogie for sure.
Are you a cigar? What's it called? What is it? A connoisseur? Is that the word? A cigar connoisseur? Did I just make up a word?
No. Coach Jay was a dumb kid and smoked lots of cigarettes. And actually, when I quit smoking cigarettes, it gave me asthma. So I try not to smoke as much as possible, but every now and then enjoy me a good cigar.
It's like golf course. That's really it. Like I didn't even smoke one last year or in 22 when they beat Alabama. It's like golf course. That's pretty much it. Golf course and then golf trips. We usually sit out on the balcony and booze it up and smoke cigars. That's it. That's the only time I really smoke them.
I admittedly forgot in 22, and like when we won, and I'm like lying on the floor in disbelief, and I was like, "Holy crap! I need a cigar." So I drove at a ungodly amount of speed around the corner to a little cigar shop. Flew into the little room there, grabbed the first one that looked good. Proceeded to light it up on my balcony and send pictures to every Alabama fan I personally knew.
Dude, when we went on a cruise we went with my mom and stepdad before my mom passed away, and I don't even remember what island we were on. And I went in some little shop and get this baggie of cigars. My poor mom was terrified. She thought for sure I was bringing something illegal back to the States and I was going to get stopped at the ship and I'm like, Mom, it's inside the gated area that the resort owns or that the cruise line owns. There is nothing illegal about these cigars, but I couldn't tell you anything about them. Terry Tipton drops a $2 super chat. We appreciate that tip in the old tip jar. Tyler drops another $2. What up, Boogie? Coach J, Buck Fama, GBO, Vol, World Order, Bass Fisher for $2. Another tip in the tip jar. Shout out Bass Fisher. We appreciate you. Carl for $2. Going to be in Knoxville today. Hope to meet Coach J. Coach, you going to be anywhere today where you're signing autographs and taking pictures with all your fans?
I'm a little up in the air where I'll be tonight. Is the Paul Feinbaum show live tonight from campus? Does anyone shout that out in the chat? I know
they want to see Paul Feinbaum. I hope you're going to fight him.
Yeah, I will. I will fist fight Paul. But I'm going to power slam him if I see Feinbaum right back into a coffin. But there's also they're doing like a March Madness thing where they're announcing both the basketball teams in Market Square and having like a little pep rally deal there. That kind of looks fun. Probably catch some barbecue tonight at Sweet Peas. But if you're friends with me on Twitter or any of that, you can message me. I know a lot of you already have. We're kind of dialing in, seeing a couple people. So I'll post it though, and I'll tag your channel in it, Boogie. So keep an eye out, folks, and we can kind of have a Where's Waldo, Where's Coach J. And as you saw, Boogie, I don't think we should keep going without making a formal public service announcement to those people traveling to Knoxville for the game. On the quarter of Clinch, and there is a poo-poo bandit at large, Boogie. Pooping in coolers and garages.
Hold on a second.
I don't want, if someone sees the poo-poo bandit, please don't.
I mean, this is clearly important. This is the important things that we need to get across on this channel.
Yeah,
there you go.
Please,
there it is.
Yeah, please don't try to take down the poo-poo bandit on your own. He's been known to smear poo-poo, and that would be extremely dangerous. You need to contact your local Knoxville authorities immediately upon coming across the poo-poo bandit. So just be careful.
How in the world is this a thing that you have to hang the sign and explain what's going on, and then if seen, please call 911? Can you imagine that phone call to 911? Like, what do you want me to bring? Like a shovel and a mop? Like, what do you need me to bring to the garage? What are we doing?
It's too funny. Yeah, that's on the liquor store on Clinch there, right by campus. It's pretty hilarious. University liquor store or something like that.
Dylan with an epic comment. That's hilarious. All right. Enough of Coach J's shenanigans. Let's see. Rob Baxter for 5 says, "How's your mom, Coach J? Offensive scheme is there. Just have to execute."
She is good, because I didn't have to sell my tickets and not go. I wouldn't be here if there was a issue. She went through all her CAT scans. I mean, she did have a really bad virus. She got a super high temperature. She kind of had some kidney problems that kind of led to her, passing out. But they got her on a bunch of fluids. She got through that virus. once again, for those of y'all know, we were just a little worried at first because she had brain surgery recently. So definitely better to, take all the precautions you can when you're dealing with something like that. But she's doing great right now. She's chilling. She's feeling a lot better, and I really appreciate everyone's prayers.
Like this community is family, man. Like, and
Mm.
I don't like obviously everything going on with your mom. Everybody's checking in on you. Everybody, praying for Drew in the chat, praying for Tony in the
Yeah.
chat that are going through things. We did our off season last night for the Talkin VAWLS Dynasty on EA Sports College Football 25. All of us got on a headset and got into a party, and we hung out for like 2 hours, just shooting the bull and hanging out, man. And like that's what this community is all about. We're 16 minutes into this show, and we've really not even talked about football yet. We're just talking. I'm like, man, we just need to do the Friday stream throughout the course of the entire year. Not even talk about football. We just hang out. We just vibing with the boys and the girls. Girls hanging out in the chat as well.
I'll tell you what, it feels weird not doing it at 7 a.m., 6 a.m. I'm like, man, this is kind of nice. I can wake up and chill, enjoy the scenery, have some coffee. I don't have to roll over out of bed and immediately shotgun 2 Red Bulls just to make it through. It's nice. It's nice.
Wait, you don't have to do that if you're on East Coast time? Because see, I'm still on my second energy drink.
I mean,
and I've
I'm
already
still
killed a couple
drinking energy drinks. I'm just not shotgunning them immediately out of bed, maybe.
Man,
but
we
yeah,
got problems.
doing good. Yeah, man, it's been fun out here. Just hanging out with Mache. Already hit Calhoun's. Hit a nice steakhouse last night. Had fun. So everything.
How was Ball Calls? Well, I've never been there live. I listen to it occasionally, but what was that? Is it like, I know it's not. Do they take questions from people there? Or is it just phone calls? What was the environment like?
They do take fan questions there. You can like line up and ask a question. Funny enough, we were just talking about it. Someone asked Coach Heupel about the deep fake DeBoer video and what he thought about his comments. But I noticed Coach Heupel didn't need to qualify it with it was a deep fake. Coach Heupel was like, "Oh well, Vol fans need to show up and be aggressive now." So he definitely knew how to throw some gasoline on that fire, we'll say. But they certainly asked questions. I think I mentioned it in the video that you're going to release later today or Saturday. But yeah, someone asked him about confidence of this offense, and Heupel took a little bit of exception to that. He felt like this offense still was extremely confident.
Yeah, it's like me laughing about the person saying that I'm trying to carry water or defend this offense in some way, man. If you can't see that there are plays out there to be made, I don't know what to tell you. And it's not like I'm some expert or some X's and O's guy. So it's like if that's how I feel, and then you got guys like Cole Kubelik saying it, guys like JD Piquel saying it, guys that played the game of football at an elite level. Like if they're telling you this, do you truly believe that sitting on your couch that you know more about football than Cole Kubelik or JD Piquel? And maybe you do. I don't know. Who am I to judge you? But I think there's a lot of people around the country that see how close this offense is. And man, oh man, what better game for this team to sync up on offense, on defense, and go make a statement, man. Make a statement. You can see the frustration. I don't, and I was reading on VolQuest that Nico's frustrated. Like and that's the thing. People want to criticize Nico and talk about Nico, and that's fair. You don't think he's the first one in the film room going, I have to be better. I've got to be better.
Yeah, I know he is. He comes from a real good system out here, really strong coaching. And, if we believe what we've been saying the last few years, we believe he's gone into a really strong coaching system, an elite coaching system, an elite program that's had the right kind of culture and all that thing. Nico's just a very humble guy, a good kid with a good family. I still, as all of you know, I'm 100% behind him. Yeah, he's got growing up to do. We all knew that. Yeah, did we expect it to click more than it has already? 1,000,000%. Have I changed any of my feelings? Heck no. I think Nico will put it together. Do I know when he's going to do it? No, I'm not the Wizard of Oz, but I definitely believe in him. The kid's young. And when I say young, guys, look, I realize that Nico's been on campus for a while, but that's like saying I've been in country for war for a while, but never fought in a battle. You know what I mean? It's a little different when bullets start whizzing by your head. You need that battle experience. And right now, Nico's had, 7 games, 6 games, something like that to get those whizzing by his head. Offensive line struggling. So there's things holding you back a little, but it doesn't matter. You need to find a way to bite down and push through those. When will Nico solve that problem? We're all waiting with great anticipation to find out that answer.
And it's not just Nico, man. Bellum, like that's what I love about JD, because he played wide receiver. So he blames, it doesn't blame the wide receiver. He's like, hey, bail your quarterback out. Bell ate out when he puts a little bit too much on it. It hits you in the hands, but you don't catch it. So I love that JD is like getting on the wide receivers, but Nico has to be better. The offensive line's got to be better. Everybody's got to be better. Let me catch back up with you guys in the chat. Jamie Roberts drops a $20 super chat. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Jamie drops a $20 bill on the table and he says, look, Boogie, this is real simple. Let me keep it short and sweet. Play the clip and Buck Fama GBO. Shout out, Jamie. We appreciate that. Very generous super chat. Dave Morrison for 2 says Vols 28, Tide 24. Sampson will have 235 and 4 touchdowns. Dude, if that's the case, I don't think Nico's got it figured out yet, but we're celebrating with our doggies in the end zone. Spectra Sound Lab for 2, first time door feed, GBO. And Buck Fama, we appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Tyler Harrison for 5. I will light up a cigar if they win, but I will be lighting up some blunts watching the game to keep my blood pressure down. Lol, GBO Buck Fama. Shout out, Tyler. We appreciate you, brother. Sean says, oh, yeah, I forgot. 27-7. The champ is here. Let me tell you something, Sean.
Oh, what happened? What did I miss?
You better do it about 16 more times if you want to call yourself the champ. Sean popped in Tuesday night. He's like, Boogie, we got to play Tennessee, Alabama, but I get to be the Vols. And my cocky, arrogant, stupid self said, well, if that's the case, it has to be in Neyland Stadium because I will kill you at a neutral site. Then I proceeded to have one of the most EA games of EA games. You fumble twice. You can't see your wide receivers. You can't see their routes. And Sean put a beating on me. For the first time in 722 games, he finally got his win. But guess what? Tuesday night redemption song is coming your way, Sean. Don't you think I don't have something special cooked up for you on Tuesday night? Did I say Sunday night? Because I meant Tuesday night. But we appreciate you, Sean. Why is it not starring super chats? This is a disaster. This one just skipped right by. CJ Woods for 2. We don't give a piss about nothing but the Vols. Thank you, CJ Woods. Jamie Roberts for another 20 says double down on it. Buck Fama GBO. Well, we'll do it again.
Rocky Top!
Shout out, Jamie. Very generous. We appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys hanging out on this Friday morning Talking Vols Live. Me and Coach Jay here every Friday to get you guys geared up and ready for kickoff. So we talked a little bit about what Coach Jay is up to down there in Knoxville. Let's talk a little bit about this game coming up tomorrow, like Tennessee, Alabama. And, Kaner asked me this on Locked On Vols. He's like, what does this game mean to you? And so I immediately start talking about how much I hate Georgia because I hate Georgia. And we've had this conversation before. Our, people our age typically hate Florida more because of that SEC East rivalry. Like what is Alabama to me? Like I hate Alabama. I hate Georgia. I hate Florida. But when I hear Alabama, it's almost like, well, this is the team that the old timers told me means a lot, and I have to hate this team. Red team versus the orange team. It feels like I don't like a respect thing, the old generation. I owe it to them to hate Alabama just a little bit more.
Yeah, and I do hate Alabama. The first game I gambled on ever in my life, I was in grade school. It was that national championship. What did Bama have that in, like 90 or 89 or something like that? That like kind of one-off championship years before Saban got there. I think I bet a friend at school like my lunch money for a week, and I lost, and I cursed Alabama every day since then. So yeah, I hate them, man. You think back to all these plays. You think of the Mount Cody block. When we had him dead to rights, you think of the Peyton Manning naked bootleg, and all the tradition, and it's hard not to see that and realize it for how special it is, how palpable it is, and of course, tearing down the goalpost. I know we all had such a visceral reaction to that moment. It just been like 15 years, 10 years, whatever amount of frustration built up, and then finally able to let go of it. And it's just, to me, it's evidence that we're on our way. You look at what the staff has done with the offense, defense. I think we have depth in the quarterback room. Yeah, is the depth young or not here yet entirely? True, yeah, but you can see it building. You can even see it building on the O line. We're just not to where the depth is layered thick every position with age behind it. We're getting a lot closer to that moment. We're just not quite at that exact moment yet, but we got enough depth just to be a little bit dangerous, specifically if that offense does get clicking.
I kind of asked you this earlier, where's your confidence at going into this game? Like, we talk about the offense and how close they are. Alabama's defense is not their defense of old, and again, you're going to break that down. I'll probably drop that video around lunchtime or so. The breakdown for this game, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, kind of getting into what Alabama does offensively and defensively. But we talked about their numbers, their stats. They're not an Alabama of old when it comes to defense. Like, are you confident going to this game? Like, honestly, I have been confident every week. I was confident for Arkansas. I was confident going into the Florida game. This is the first game that I'm going into saying, I don't really know how I feel about this. Dylan Elam, that sums it up. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and it's a good statement, right? Like, I'm confident Tennessee can win this game, right? Am I confident that the offense is going to go out there and flip the switch and execute and solve all the problems immediately? No, I think confident would be wrong. I think we've seen enough from them to have a real tangible hope that this offense can get it done. Like, we've seen how good the running game can be. We've seen how dangerous the zone read can be when Nico's keeping it and keeping that backside end honest. If we know how good this offense can be, or we can be when we're scrambling and not getting holding calls and kind of have that other element that's sucking DBs in. I think Tennessee needs a clean game in this game, but I do think it bears mentioning that a lot of Tennessee fans can probably see what is plain to see. If Bama is on and the offense doesn't click, the defense can't be expected to keep that Alabama offense when it's clicking at bay forever. So that's a bit of we'll call it a danger zone in this game. But I certainly am confident that Tennessee has every ability to win this game. We play our game.
I mean, that's why cautiously optimistic is perfect,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm like, I can see it. I can see the plays are there, but until you start making the plays and you look at the last 2 weeks, you didn't score any points in the first half against Florida or Arkansas. You do that against Alabama, you're in trouble, because they are going to make plays. Everybody knows the big playmakers. Everybody knows that Jalen Milroe is going to go out there and make plays. Everybody knows that Ryan Williams is going to go out there and make plays. And you hope that our defense does, make some stands. And I don't think this is going to be another shootout in the 50s like we saw 2 years ago. I think it's going to be a little bit lower of a scoring affair. But I do think, I said Wednesday, I said with Kaner, I think it takes 30 points to win this game. I think Tennessee's going to have to score at least 30 points to get it done, because I do expect Milroe to play. And he's a gamer, man. Like, what do you think about their offense? I know in the breakdown you really go more into the defensive side of the ball. What scares you about the Alabama offense?
What scares me about the Alabama offense, Jalen Milroe, ability to run. So, you kind of got to have your DBs keeping your eyes on him, which is why I think a lot of times some safeties can get in trouble. I feel good about that, that wide split out seam. What bugs me is that same play that Florida scored. What scared me is that one that T-Lander bid on the wrong way. It's taking Jermon McCoy, taking Ricky Gibson out of the play and getting that true Alabama speed on our safeties, not our star. I think Boo can run with them just fine, but specifically on our two safeties, if they get stemmed, if they get fooled and they take, we talk about all the time during the breakdowns, right, Boogie? You take that one wrong step against these wide receivers and get out of position, they're going to make you pay for it. So as a D coordinator, that's what would be keeping me up, is making sure our matchups are as good as they can be, and we understand how important it is to limit the big plays. If we limit the big plays in this one, I think we got a great chance. Limit the quarterback runs.
Somebody brought up in the chat there talking about Jermod McCoy, and they would put him on Ryan Williams to stop him. And I said that to Kaner, and he's like, "Boogie, you know that is not what Tim Banks is going to do. He's not going to move his corners. They're going to play where they play, and it is what it is." But I believe you said this, if I remember right, and if not, I would almost think that you'll probably agree with this if you didn't say it. So, see, I'm trying to give you credit, but I honestly don't remember.
You know what?
If you said this
I'm gonna take this chance to pat myself on the back, because Coach Jay taking a little bit of flack for Nico, and that's okay. I don't care. I still got Nico's back. I still think he solves all the issues. But Jermod McCoy, man, 173 lockdown coverage snaps, 0 touchdowns allowed, 1 interception, 4 PBUs, 84.6 Pro Football Focus grade. I think I nailed my evaluation there, Boogie. I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for this one.
Do you think like the key to stopping Williams is being physical? Because if you're going to be physical, I think Jermod McCoy is more physical than Ricky Gibson, but I think Ricky Gibson can hold his own too. But I just don't. What is your key to stopping Ron Williams? Get your hands on him and throw his timing off.
Get your hands on him. Redirect him when you can. If they move him around, especially like I was talking about, make sure you redirect him properly into your safeties so they have an extra step. Great example of that, the Arian Carter interception last week. I reposted it, but he redirects the wide receiver that goes on a seam route perfectly into the safety's coverage. Now that play's gone. The quarterback needs to throw his check down to the flat quickly. All of a sudden, there's a linebacker that's perfectly squatted into that zone. We need this team to function as one in order to stop these deep passes. So yes, the answer is be physical. Yes, it's reroute them, direct them into the correct areas, and yes, make sure you're matched up correctly and that you're not out of position and lined up so that you can play football.
Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Bert Smith, real estate, becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Bert. We appreciate you for the support. If you're not a member, you don't have a power T beside your name, you can fix that real quick. You can hit that join button down there beside subscribe, or you can click the link pinned at the top of the live chat, or you can go down here in the description, and there is a link there as well. I'm about to cough. Hold on. Man, I knew that one was coming. I had to get to the mute button real quick. Matt Mars for 5 says late for the stream. Not sure if it's been said yet or not, but I don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. It's been said. We'll say it again. We'll probably send you guys out with the clip again. I don't think you can ever say that too many times. So shout out Matt. Big Trey for 8 says F them all. I like that the rivalry with Alabama has more of a gentleman's quarrel vibe to it, though. Yes, that's well said, Trey. That is well said. We appreciate the super chat. He says for 2. Sorry, forgot it's not Tuesday night. That's all right. You censored yourself well enough, Trey. Jay Carter's here for 5. Says, sorry, Boris was selling some golf carts. GBO. Well, send one my way, Jay Carter. Send me a golf cart my way. I would appreciate it. Fido Productions for 20. That's Orange Boy. We'll do it.
Rocky Top!
Fido Productions says, tinfoil hat on. Heupel has played conservative all year, purposely told Nico to miss shots, attempting to sell Vols exposure to bigger competition and hide the real Vols for the coming out party Saturday. Vols by 50.
You know what? If they win by a bunch of points, Fido, we're going with that. You called your shot. That's exactly what we've been doing.
I love it. I love it. At least he admits the tinfoil hats on. At no way in the history of football has any coach ever been conservative for half of the year and have a loss on the table. But we appreciate you, Fido, and we'll roll with that, man. We'll roll with that conspiracy theory. One last thing I want to talk about, then we're gonna listen to Heupel's press conference from earlier in the week. Linebacker position. We talked about this a little bit Wednesday night. Obviously, Keenan Peely out for the season, maybe done playing football. I don't know if he gets an opportunity to play at the next level or not. A guy that, when he transferred in here, we're talking about a veteran guy, a guy that was a captain at BYU, a guy that would bring some leadership to this linebacker room. And then he gets hurt last year, and we don't really get to see what he was capable of. Man, we got to see a little glimpse of it this year. We got to see his physicality and the way he plays football, man. He was fun to watch. He goes down. He's out for the year. Next man up, Jeremiah Thielander slides in, takes over the helmet communication. What do you need to see, not from Jeremiah Thielander, but that linebacker unit as a whole? Caleb Perry, we're talking about you. Do you think he's ready to step up and be in that 2 deep against a team like Alabama?
He needs to be. That's the bottom line, right? Like, you're not always going to be ready for that situation, but he needs to be. Your team is calling upon you, and you need to answer that bell, and that's kind of the bottom line. He needs to play with his hair on fire, with great technique, play downhill, play not out of his position, and do what he can to help this team, because our linebackers, I think everyone feels good about Aaron Carter and Thielander, right? That they're great, they're fine, they're going to be just fine. They're part of the reason Coach Jay truly believes that this defense will actually be even better next year, if we can hold on, certainly, to Tim Banks. I definitely believe that. But it's going to test the depth of these linebackers, not just Perry, but you might see Jalen Smith in there if it's a true slug out as well. He needs to be better as well. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. But once again, he's a redshirt freshman, and like I said with Nico, if it's true for Nico, it's definitely true for Jalen Smith too. He hasn't seen that many live bullets fly. He needs to go out there, put his hard hat on, and get some shots off on this defense.
See, I see a comment about the penalties being called against Tennessee and against Tennessee's opponents. And I looked at that, and I'm not one to ever, like, if I'm going to talk about officiating especially after a loss, it's going to be a call that truly legitimately cost Tennessee the game, or if it's just overwhelmingly bad from one side or the other. Look, these officials this year have missed calls both ways. Like, they've missed them both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But some of that, the live ball penalties that Tennessee is not getting in their favor, it's ridiculous. I didn't really did you see that floating around? I didn't really deep dive or look into it to really have any comments about it.
I did. I get everyone's frustration with the referees, and they feel like Miss J, frankly. Sometimes Miss J, I'll look over her during a game, and she'll just throw up her hands and be like, "Why do the effing refs hate us so much? I don't understand it." And she probably, sums that up perfectly for how a lot of us feel. A lot of it feels ticky-tacky at times, or, like it's not being called evenly both ways. I think all those things are actually true, and I don't know why I can't put my finger on it. But at the end of the day, we can't make excuses, right? At the end of the day, that pass could have been completed that Nico threw, or he was 5 for 5 and then he fumbled the ball. But the pass could have been a little better on the hands. It's one of those things. Yes, it's a problem. Yes, it's adversity, but we can't use it as an excuse as a team. We have to find a way to adapt and overcome. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard.
Here's the tweet we're talking about here. And this was from a random post on VolQuest. I saw it on VolQuest. Then everybody started tagging me on Twitter. And it says only 2 holding penalties have been enforced against Tennessee's opponents in the last 40 quarters of football. 2 holding calls in 10 games. It says in total, Tennessee's opponents have been called for 6 live ball offensive penalties during that span, and 3 of those were offsetting where Tennessee was called for a penalty as well. The original post and statistics are copied below, and he kind of goes through it all. But, I mean, you read that number alone. Like, that's ridiculous. 10 games, 2 holding calls. You're telling me that in 10 games, they held the best edge rusher in the country only twice. Like, James Pierce gets held every game, all game. But at the same time, it's college football. It happens all over the country. Guys are getting held every single play. I think that's one of the biggest frustrations, right? It's why I say I don't watch the NBA, because there's no consistency with officiating. Like, you can get in there and body somebody in the paint, and you're throwing elbows and pushing and shoving. Nothing gets called. You touch somebody on the elbow on a jump shot, that's a foul. Like, that makes zero sense to me. So you just got to be consistent in what you call. It's frustrating, but when you read it that way, 10 games, 2 holding calls. That's ridiculous.
It's bad at the end of the day. You certainly hope the coaches are sending all the data, sending cut-ups of the times they feel like calls have been missed. I don't know if that's going on, but I certainly hope it is because, yeah, I think we'd all like a little bit better accountability from the officiating. Definitely disappointing.
Cody says, Boogie, Coach Jay, where y'all tailgate at? I tailgate right here in front of this microphone and this camera. That's where I tailgate. I tailgate with you guys an hour before kickoff every single week right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Coach Jay, do you all know where you're going to be pregame yet?
I think I'm going to be a little everywhere. I think I'm going to be at the little tailgate party they do. I just kind of want to see a little bit of everything. I might want to see the little SEC show. Shoot, I might want to go walk along the Vol Navy real quick. But that's why I encourage you guys, please don't be shy if you want to say hi. I'll try to post where I'm going to be at certain times. But if you want to message me, I have no problem meeting up. Would love to meet as many of y'all as possible.
That's why you're the fan favorite. You're the fan favorite. Come meet Coach Jay. I'll be here. I'll be there. I tweeted out and said, here I am 20 minutes after I left that spot. Oops. I don't think I've ever said that on air before. Dylan Elam pretends says, am I wrong to believe that Bama's offense has been more like Hugh Freeze's one read and run offense? Smother Milroe in the backfield and take away the 1 and 2 receivers.
I think it's at times I understand what Dylan's saying here. Just even thinking to the Nimrod drop on the slant over the middle, like it was a quick one read to the flat, looked him off, second read, and then the ball that was picked was just a quick one read and never got off it to his check down. But there's also times where I've seen the third and the fourth reads. It's just not been at a high enough click for us to do damage with it is the problem. Once again, it just hasn't been clicking. We haven't gotten to those later reads because either A, the offensive line screwed it up. B, the offensive line screwed it up and Nico rushed it. C, Nico got stubborn and forced something that, wasn't there. Seems like kind of what more is going on in my humble opinion.
All right. Brandon Hudson says, let me get an autograph, Coach Jay. Hey, I signed a Tennessee hat at one of our meet and greets one time. And I said,
value your clothing.
Immediately devalued your hat.
Yeah.
I've also signed a mini helmet for Nicholas in the chat. So I devalued a mini helmet too. Just damaging Tennessee merchandise every single day. Robert's in the house. What's up, brother? He drops a 10. He says, Hoskins tailgate, Coach Jay, entry fee on me, just win. Dude, you need to look that up. That is like the tailgate. That is the tailgate of all tailgates. Just look it up. Look it up. Just Google it. Facebook, Twitter. It's all over the place. That is, they do it right there.
Okay, so just go out there and yell, Robert!
No, you shoot me a text.
Robert, let me in!
You shoot me a text, and then I'll shoot Robert a text and tell him you're there and to find you. He'll treat you right there.
All right.
If you all want to do that. All right. Shout out, Robert. Appreciate you, brother. Let's listen to Coach Heupel earlier this week. This is something new we added to the show. You guys said you like it, so we're going to do it. If you guys want to change the direction of the show, you know how to do that. Super chat. Also, Coach Jay, if you want to say something, we'll pause it and we'll talk about it. All right, let's get into it.
Really good football team that we're playing. Talented, as everybody knows. Ability to make explosive plays on the offensive side of the football starts with their quarterback. Him being a part of the run game, and then playmakers out on the outside and defensively. Personnel-wise, they look like they always do. Big and strong up front, and second level can run, and third level's extremely athletic. So huge test for us. We got to continue to get better and get ready to go play really good football. So I'll open it up.
Yeah, I think one thing that's gotten lost on this is Alabama's got a pretty good offensive line, in my opinion. I'm really interested in how that matchup is going to go. How is Milroe at making those adjustments with the noise inside Neyland Stadium? and how much can they protect him? How much does that play break down? How much do we have to worry about him scrambling? Can we get straight lines through, finish the tackles, and not let him wiggle away? Big matchup in this game that's not being talked about as much. Alabama's offensive line against this team, Tennessee's defensive line that has been every bit of legit so far.
I don't know where they rank now. They've only given up 11 sacks on the year. And some of that, of course, is Milroe and his athleticism and his ability to escape. But he would be leading, if it wasn't for the sack yardage, he would be leading their team in rushing. And I don't – what do you think about their running backs? Because Kaner kind of questioned them looking at, like, yardage. But yardage, that means nothing to me. I looked at yards per carry, which is a little bit more impressive. But again, stats don't always tell the full story. You look, they beat Western Kentucky 63-0. So how many chunk plays do they have? I didn't deep dive and break all that stuff down, but Jam Miller averaging over 7 yards a carry, Haynes averaging 6.5 per carry. So what do you think about their running backs?
They're more than adequate to get the job done. I don't think they have, obviously, I don't believe they have that, that quintessential Alabama Heisman winning running back. They don't got someone like we had to deal with in 22 either, certainly. So as far as Alabama running backs go, sign me up for these two over previous iterations. But listen, you don't play gap sound football. You don't stay violent within your gaps. This team will run on you. So we need to do that, period, full stop.
I mean, I think this team has been pretty dang good at that, right? I mean,
yes,
against Arkansas, against Florida, when the freshman was in there, I think they have been pretty good at what they do. So I think they can contain Milroe. Milroe just scares me, just straight up design runs, man. Like, do you ever – I know I said this Wednesday. I've said this a lot. I almost get jealous when I see Jalen Milroe run the football. I'm like, that is picture perfect. Really for Joe Milton last year, like the quarterback power. I know I keep beating that into the ground, but he runs that play so well. And I think Milton, if he was committed and the coaching staff was committed, could run that play well. We've seen what Nico can do on designed runs. Like, why is it that Alabama, what are they going to do if Milroe gets hurt? You going to play Ty Simpson? You think he's ready to go? Like, I just don't coach scared. And people can agree, disagree whether Heupel's doing that or not by not running Nico. And again, we saw it a couple of times. I want to see it more. I want to see it. I want to see Nico 8 to 10 designed runs. That's never going to happen. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I think we all want to see it more. I think when Hendon Hooker was here, there's something to be said that we were playing with house money, specifically in 22, right? That was something that no one saw coming, maybe other than the team, and a couple fringe people who just spouted out that we're going to win every game every year. But, I thought we were playing with house money. I thought we were playing loose and free on offense, and I think that's when Josh Heupel's offense are playing at their best. And maybe Heupel, in hindsight, it's easy to say that, yeah, this wouldn't have been good. But in the moment, Heupel thought he had a good starting quarterback, a great, awesome starting quarterback in Joe Milton that was healthy back at that point. He could play a little loose and free. I know people tend to, love our current backup quarterback. And I think Aston Moore is great. I think he is a great football mind. But I think he lacks to have all the tools that you truly need to take this football team where we want to go in the playoff. The upside isn't just quite as high. The ceiling isn't quite as high for Gaston Moore.
There's a big difference in, look, Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker was here when Heupel got hired. He went and got Joe Milton to be his starter. Then Hendon Hooker took over the job. And it's like, clearly he had confidence in Joe Milton to go out there and be the quarterback. So when you've got Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton on the same team in the same quarterback room, that's way different. And I talk all the time on here about how hard it is to fill out that quarterback room now, because you're always going to have the guy and the future guy that's not ready yet. So right now you got Nico, and I like Gaston Moore as much as everybody else. He's not the answer. And then you got Jake Merklinger, who's a true freshman that you hope is a future guy. And then it's going to be the same thing when George comes in. And we saw it with Taven Jackson, right? We saw it with Harrison Bailey. It's like when George comes in, they're going to go through spring camp, fall camp, and George and Jake are going to be competing. And one
Yeah,
of those
and
guys likely will not end their career here.
yeah, and I'll tell you what, in a weird way, even though, he might not be as ready in the pass game and X's and O's and not grown up as much, but is bad as this team has been at protecting the quarterback. Like, think about those holding plays where Nico picked up those big yards. I don't think Gaston Moore is making those plays,
No,
escaping the pocket.
no.
Is Merklinger? Maybe, because he's a lot more proficient with his legs. But that might be a part of it too. Gaston is a still target in a pocket right now that is less of a pocket and more like standing next to a bunch of hand grenades going off. So it's a dangerous situation for a quarterback. You need to be able to escape that. You need to be able to have quick, decisive feet without having happy feet. That's one of those things that I've been wondering, like, okay, I get why he wants his feet ready to move, why he needs to be ready to bail at a moment's notice. He just needs to be calm and when doing so and not have the happy feet. Got to solve that problem as well. I believe he will. Once again, just wish I had a crystal ball and could tell you all exactly when it would happen.
Backup quarterback is always the sexiest position.
Yeah.
Gaston Moore is he is great. He is great for this football team. To have a guy like Gaston Moore that is willing to transfer here, knowing that I'm never going to be the guy, I'm never going to be the starter, but I'm going to come be a backup, and hopefully, maybe one day he becomes a coach on this football staff. But you look at
Yeah.
what are you looking at? Like, what are you looking at to say that you think Gaston Moore is the guy? Is it the orange and white game? I mean, look at the Chattanooga game: 7 of 12 and a pick. 58% completion percentage. Like, and again, I'm not trying to sit here and rip on Gaston Moore, but that's just the reality. He is not the answer. Timothy says for 5, but with Moore, he gets the ball off quicker than Nico. Like, do you all like? I really have a hard time that you guys truly believe that Gaston
I
Moore is
don't
a
believe
better
that.
quarterback than Nico. Like, he wasn't better than Joe. He's not better than Nico. Like, he never transferred here to be the starting quarterback at Tennessee.
But
He didn't.
but also, what is that based on? What is that statement?
Spring games.
And I love Timothy. That's
Spring
based on a
games.
spring game where you can't hit the quarterback, right? What is that statement based on other than conjecture?
It's
I
just
mean,
like Harrison Bailey when he was here and he went out and he had success against the threes in a spring game, and everybody thought he was the next Peyton Manning, and I got ripped to shreds because I said he wasn't, and he was not going to be the guy, and people got mad about it. Look, there are things you can take away from a spring game. They really don't mean a hill of beans when push comes to shove. Like, you can't
no.
take anything. You can take some things away from it. Dakota's been a member for 31 months. Says, for the love of God, whatever this coaching staff does, do not lose Faison Brandon. Why are we putting that out into the universe, Dakota? Why are we putting that negativity? Get that negative energy out of here. I don't think Faison Brandon is going anywhere. In fact, I think the class of 26 could be pretty dang special. All right, let's we made it 38 seconds, Coach. We made it 38 seconds into the press conference. Let's get back to it.
So better than I thought.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something else. I'm like, seriously?
One more thing.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Listen.
You obviously seemed pretty frustrated Saturday night after the game with the offense. When you went back and watched the film, do you still feel like you're as close as you felt like you were coming out of there to being, making some of those big splash plays you're talking about?
Certainly there's big plays out there that we're a little bit off on. But even just, the run game, some of our pass game that's not vertically down the football field, we're close on things. 11 guys got to fully operate as one. And the good thing is we have guys that can do it. We have guys that have already done it before. We got to prepare the right way, practice really well, and take some steps. But we're fully capable of being more efficient than we were.
Go ahead and get this one out of the way. What's the Keenan Peely update?
I was trying to find the pause button.
No, it's just saying it is so difficult as a coach when you feel like you're so close like that, and you just can't, seem to catch the fly in the proverbial chopsticks. You know what I mean? It's like it just slides out, or you nip its wing, or something like that. That is so difficult as a coach, man. I've been there where it's just like we're there, man. We're like in the parking lot and there's not an it looks like there's an open spot, but then there's a motorcycle in it, but then there's a little Fiat in it, and I just can't seem to park the dang car even though I got there just fine. It can be really, really frustrating. That's all.
Timothy for another 5 says also Nico had, I called him Nickel. Nico had 3 receivers open, but it was short game before Nico just ran. He had 3 receivers open, but it was short game before Nico just ran. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Sure. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Tim.
Oh man. Nico needs a game Saturday.
I love y'all.
For the sake of YouTube. For the sake of my YouTube sanity. You know, you come on here Sunday, you come on here post game, you come on here Friday. I'm on here every single day. People just like, oh goodness gracious. Goodness. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah. Keenan had an injury, ACL, and will be done for the season. Keenan, I said it after the game. There's nobody that represents Tennessee better than him. You know, he's a great leader and will continue to be that inside of our building. Just, you know, heartbroken for him and his family. Guy that does absolutely everything right and you know, special player, but special person too. He's got a great future.
Somebody said that Timothy meant short gain. So Nico had 3 receivers open, but it was a short gain before just ran. Somebody mentioned this. I don't remember if it was you or if it was Coach Rice, somebody talking about Nico, and it's like, no, it was Kaner. It was Kaner on Locked On Balls this morning. He was talking about how he's like, if you go to your front door every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, actually, he stole this from Swain. So now we're like 3 degrees of separation away from it. He said, you go to your front door every day at 4 o'clock and you open the door and somebody slaps you in the head. Every day. This is what happens, Coach. Every single day. You get up, you go to the front door, 4 o'clock, open the door, you get smacked in the head. Every day. Monday, Tuesday. This goes on for months. Every day, 4 o'clock, you go, open the door, slapped in the head. What are you going to do after, I don't know, let's say 6 months, open the door at 4 o'clock. So you go on a Tuesday, it's 4 o'clock, you open the door, there's nobody there. You still flinch because you've been slapped in the head every day for the last 6 months. So what do you think Nico's doing? I've said this on this channel that Nico does not look confident and he does not look comfortable because of the lack of protection from the offensive line. So what happens when you get hit time and time and time again, but then all of a sudden you got this clean pocket? And yeah, it's on Nico. You got to be better. You got to have the confidence. You got to be able to stand in there and make plays. But when you have been pressured, he's looking to make plays with his feet. And I don't think Nico ever looks to run first. I think he wants to throw the football. I think even when he's running, his eyes are downfield because he's trying to make plays and throw the football. Timothy says short pass is what I meant. But, you know, when you've been hit time and time and time again and there's no protection, I get it.
Yeah, for me, it's less about the confidence side and just more about not being comfortable, not feeling secure in your protection in your pocket. And I guess, yeah, could we put that word on it that will shake your confidence or your belief in your ability to sit back in the pocket and go through all 5 reads? Yeah, sure, probably mess with that confidence in it. I think it's just all, listen, we've said it a couple times, it's a line of scrimmage league, period, full stop. Nico doesn't feel comfortable in that pocket. It's obvious, and I think we can all agree that yes, Nico needs to be better, but I think we can also agree that this offensive line has not lived up to their part of the bargain, not even close. I don't think there's a person in this chat that thinks they would be sitting back in that pocket calm, or that really any quarterback would be sitting back in that calm. You know, if you think that there's a quarterback out there right now that would just be chilling in our pass protection and murdering things, then I got some beachfront property in Ohio, I can tell you.
You got a good deal on that? I'm interested.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Will Dyer for 5 says not many people talking about how no SEC quarterback gets to a game against us. I have hope we win. I think that's part of, man, what makes this even more frustrating. We have seen Josh Heupel come in here and always have an elite offense. Not elite last year, obviously they fell off, but explosive offense, and you're looking for that defense. And we've slowly seen this shift from year 1 to now year 4, where it's like, all right, can we meet in the middle? But now it's passing, and it's like, we have an elite national championship defense, and it's better than I think most people in the country thought it was going to be. And now we're struggling to get our offense firing on all cylinders. And again, it's a beautiful thing about a 12-team playoff. If Tennessee can get this thing figured out on offense and they keep playing elite defense, just make it. Just get in to the college football playoff, and we're going to be just fine. You just got to get things going on offense. And they can still do that. I get the frustration and say, well, this offense sucks. I'm ready to write it off. They can still do it. Let's get back to it.
You talked about the run game a little bit, the difference from the first half numbers to the second half numbers for both Florida and Arkansas, a big difference. What's the key to get that run game going early?
Execution, winning on blocks when they're isolated, communication and targeting the right thing. We got to settle into the football game a little bit better early in the football game. And again, that's something that we're fully capable of.
Josh, you mentioned some of those big plays that y'all almost hit on Saturday. The 3 deep balls, 2 to Chaz and 1 to Squirrel. When you went back and watched, what did you kind of see that maybe went wrong there, or what's been your talking point to Nico and reassessing those plays?
Yeah, a little bit off on the throw. Squirrel's really close. Make him bend outside a little bit off of it. The safety was a little bit tighter to it than anticipated. But all in all, wide receivers, quarterback, we got to make it right, and you got to hit some of those plays.
Hey, Josh, Kalen DeBoer has told a story about how early in his career he visited Oklahoma. You helped him out there. Yeah. What's the story behind that visit, and what's y'all's relationship been like over the years?
Yeah, Kalen's just not a lot of us from South Dakota, but anyways, knew of him when I was younger, and through his coaching career, he's just somebody that have stayed in contact with at times, and got great respect for him and what he's done throughout his career and how he handles himself.
Is his offense that did evolve in the same direction as yours from those many years ago?
I think everybody's continued to evolve from when he first visited us.
Do you have any concerns about where Nico's confidence is right now in any way? And kind of what, as a former quarterback, what's your message to him after the last couple of games he's played?
Well, I think for every player, not just a quarterback, you've heard me say this, you got to play the next play independently, the next week independently too. We started extremely fast. We have the turnover, get behind the chains, a couple times there in first quarter, early second quarter. With penalties, some self-inflicted wounds, things that we can control and be smarter in. I thought for a second, maybe, just offensively, we weren't playing with the same aggressiveness that we came out early in the football game with. For us, settling in, we got a bunch of guys that have played at a high level and have made plays. And Nico's played well. He hasn't played his best football the last couple of weeks. Let's go prepare and practice and go play the next game, the next play with an aggressive mentality. And there's a lot of things that he did well in the football game too. So just got to continue to grow.
Boogie.
I don't have concerns about him pressing. He's prideful. It matters to him. He wants to perform well, not for himself, but for the guys around him. And, let's go have a great week and be ready to go play really good football. When you play quarterback, it's not going to be perfect. Everybody wants it to be. It wasn't for Hendon Hooker, any of the guys that we've had. Being resilient, coming back and playing with great confidence, which he will, and poise will lead you to the plays that are going to present themselves.
I didn't know if you held down the button on YouTube that it goes into warp speed.
Yeah, it definitely did. Do you believe Coach Heupel? Do you think Nico played well at times and has played well?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
You're baiting me. I've said that.
Yeah, no. I listen. Like I told you the other day, but we were talking about a different subject. But I always like to self-evaluate, right, and make sure my shades aren't too orange. Look, it's no secret. Nico comes out of my personal coaching tree, and I will always grab those people backs. So I just always like to check in and make sure coach is seeing things the way other people are seeing them. Maybe it's good to self-evaluate.
But I think people too people react emotionally, and I like it's so
Yeah.
funny. Like I've said this a million times. I've been called a Joe Milton defender. I've been called a Joe Milton hater. I've been called a sunshine pumper. I've been called a negaval. And the reason that there are two sides to all these arguments is because I just come on and I give my opinion. And when you give your opinion every single day about Tennessee football, there's going to be some ups and downs to it, right? And it's like I just try to call it like I see it. That's why last year I said I'm judging Joe Milton on a game-by-game basis. And I said all year long, you cannot bench Joe Milton. Like, to me, he never did anything to deserve being benched for. On the flip side of that, at some point in the season, when everything's over and you got nothing left to play for, maybe it's time to roll Nico out there. And I don't remember what point in the year that happened, when I was like, all right, it's time to go with Nico and it's time to prepare for the future. And now some of these growing pains that we're seeing, some of the, Nico waiting for things to slow down or things that may be frustrating people in the chat, frustrating me, frustrating whoever, maybe some of that would have been sped up had he got some live action last year. You missed some opportunities to get him in blowouts. Like they waited quite a bit of time before Nico would come in blowouts last year. There is something to be said, going back to what you mentioned earlier. It's different when live bullets are flying, right? It's way different when it's for real and when it counts and when the game's on the line. And had Nico got that run last year, maybe we're having a different conversation. On the flip side of that, I'm not going to sit here and bury Josh Heupel and say, you're an idiot. Why are you not playing the 5-star quarterback? Why are you not playing Nico? Because I see the loyalty aspect. And when Joe Milton's trotting out there and not costing you any ball games, you could have cost him his NFL career. We had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Joe Milton got drafted. Joe Milton is in the NFL. Joe Milton is somebody that Josh Heupel can point at and say, look, I got Hendon Hooker in the league. I got Joe Milton in the league. I got Nico in the league. I got George McIntyre in the league. I got Faison Brandon in the league. Why do you guys think that all these quarterbacks are lining up? Why do you think that Nico came here? Because he knows what Josh Heupel can do with a quarterback. Why do you think George McIntyre is coming here, even though he knows Nico's in the room? Why do you think Faison Brandon is coming here when he sees George McIntyre in the room? You're talking elite level quarterbacks that are coming to Tennessee. They are lining up at Tennessee to play for Josh Heupel. I think he knows a little something about coaching and playing quarterback at an elite level. So that's why you can come at me from all sides, because I just laid it all out there. I'm a Joe defender, a Joe hater, a Nico defender, a Nico hater. Call it like I see it. That's all you can do on YouTube, right, Coach Jay?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. All you can do is sit up here and say what you believe, say what you're seeing, say how you feel, and that's it, man. But like you said too, that's part of the beauty of it, man. We all love this team. We all bleed orange. We all have strong opinions because we love them. And I do also get the statement that there can be no great disappointment without great love for something, right? So that's why some people are so disappointed, is because of that great love. So I understand that. I respect everyone's opinion, even though we may differ. One opinion we don't differ on. Let's beat the heck out of Alabama tomorrow.
Let me catch back up with you guys, dropping some super chats. We appreciate that support. That keeps this show moving forward, keeps the lights on. Dakota for 5 says, Coach Jay, Ohio does have beachfront property. It's called Lake Erie. They have beaches. Go Vols, Buck Fama. That's not a beach.
I have to tell you, I was in Ohio once, years and years ago, and we were visiting some people I knew out there, and they were like, let's go to the beach. And I was confused as hell because I didn't think there was beaches in Ohio. And they took me to a beach that was supposed to be a beach. And then I cried a little bit and felt really bad for the people of Ohio that they believed that those were beaches. So I apologize. The ocean's the other ways. I don't know what to tell you, Dakota.
They have them in East Tennessee, bro. They bring in a bunch of sand and they dump it beside a lake and they call it a beach. That's not a beach. That's a lake with some sand beside it. Timothy
Love
from
it, love it,
5
love it.
says, I also heard that Heupel holds soft practice and Nico doesn't get the pressure from our defense like it was old school per Hooker. Is that old school for Hendon Hooker or old school per Dave Hooker? Because I'm going to have two different responses to this depending on the answer. I don't know if they – I can't imagine anybody wants to get their quarterback hit in practice. This football team tackles in practice. I know that for a fact, but I don't know that they're hitting Nico in practice. I can't imagine that you would want to hit your quarterback.
I don't think they ran live hitting against Hendon in practice either, though. I would have a hard time believing that. Just every team I've ever been a part of, Timothy, has never allowed hitting of your starting quarterback during prep weeks. So I guess I don't buy that. Maybe the team could be hitting more as a whole, but to me, it looks like the defense is hitting just fine. They haven't been having extreme tackling issues.
There's the confirmation that we needed to understand that we're on the right page.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's just being a casual and not understanding football then if it was Hooks that said it. I don't know how else to put that. It's just, and yeah, look, ever since, concussions became a thing at the forefront of football, we have dialed back hitting in practices at every single level. I don't like that because I think live bullets are the way to get better, but it's just kind of the reality of the situation. But even when that was the case, I was never on fields where that quarterback didn't have a yellow helmet hat on, a red helmet hat on, a yellow mesh jersey or whatever it may be to signify that you shouldn't be taking pot shots at that guy. I personally have never seen that at any level, and that's watching live practices at the college level, heck, even a couple at the pro level. I personally have never seen that on a football field.
Timothy for another 2 says, I didn't say hit, just pressure. I don't think that's accurate either. I'd say they're pressuring him. I'd say they're coming after him and it's two-hand touch.
Yeah,
similar to what you see in the spring game.
Yeah, but once again, and I get that it causes you to be calm when there's not a 6'5", 300-pound person trying to take your head off. When you know that's not a reality in the outcome, it's impossible not to know that. So I get that. It's just for me, Tim, it's the reality of every quarterback on every team ever. Maybe going back the last, I don't know, 30 years, maybe further.
Sean Cross from 5 says, Nico about to drop some dimes. I hope so. Gosh, we need it, man. This fan base needs it. This fan base needs some dang confidence because we're broken. We're 5-1 with everything to play for, and we're broken. We think our team is awful. We're ready to fold, ready to quit, ready to move on. People saying I'm going to go fishing and hunting because this team sucks, and they're 5-1. Somebody left a comment this week and said they're not even going to get bowl eligible. I'm done with this team. Sir, excuse me, sir, we need one more win to be bowl eligible. And I don't know if you know this, but UTEP is on the schedule. So if they don't get bowl eligible, let's just shut the channel down and find something else to do. How about that?
Yep.
Brandon McMahon becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Brandon. We appreciate that. Guys, hit that join button. We appreciate that support. Dakota for 10 says, I totally agree with you. I'm from Georgia, but I live in Wisconsin. These people up here call the beaches on Lake Michigan beaches. I'm like, this is not a beach. Buck Fama. I feel like
Buck Fama.
We are so off the rails on a Friday morning. Like, this is what we do. This is what we
do.
I
do have to say, I wore the Buck Fama, the black Buck Fama shirt to the South Carolina dark out game last year. I wore it around campus yesterday. I've been stopped so many times with people going, where do I get that Buck Fama shirt? That is awesome. So I feel like we need like a little stand or something.
And what do you tell them when they ask that?
I tell them
what do you tell them when they come to you?
I tell
where
them
did you get that beautiful shirt?
I tell them I go to.
Oh, Man, right when he was about to do the plug, like Coach Jay was set up for success. He was about to nail it. And then you know what happened? He's like, Boogie, I don't know the link to the website. So I'm just going to leave the show because I don't know the link to the website. So I'm out of here. Well, I can tell you the link to the website. It's bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can represent the VWO, the Vol World Order, because if you're talking Vols, you're talking Vols for life. But the shirt that Coach Jay is talking about, Buck Fama, if you think that's offensive, if you're like, man, I can't wear a shirt that says FUGA. You could wear a Gator Hater, but you can't wear a shirt that says Buck Fama because it's offensive and it's going to hurt somebody's feelings. But Coach Jay, if you were going to buy a Buck Fama shirt, where would you go?
I go to Bonfire, man. I go subscribe to the Talkin VAWLS network. I would go become an elite tier member. I would come into the fan call-in shows, but I'd certainly would open that little more tab. I go to the Bonfire link and I buy me all the gear. I buy me Buck Fama, Kentucky's Daddy, Colt member. I'll tell you what, my problem when I'm in Knoxville is like, how do I wear enough Talkin VAWLS gear over the amount of days I've been here? That's the true question.
See, I like you're a smart man. I don't need to memorize the bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. I don't need to I've got so much knowledge up here in my head that I don't remember www.bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. I don't have to remember that because I just click the link in the description. I just hit more and it takes me down there and there's a link and I click it and I go buy all the merchandise. All right, let's wait, did I miss something? No, that was Dakota. We got Dakota. We are caught up. Yeah, we're caught up.
Cool.
All right, let's get back into it. I see you, Trey. I see what you're doing, Trey.
Josh, on Nico, what about his pocket presence? What do you feel about that? Is he hanging in there the proper amount of time? Is he leaving early? What do you see in terms of those decisions when to run and whether to stay in the pocket?
Yeah, some of them he's absolutely right on. Some of them, he's got an opportunity to deliver a ball. Can the pocket be cleaner while he's trying to deliver it? Yeah. Offensive football, 11 guys got to operate together. There's times the old line's doing a really good job and we're not doing a good job at running back or vice versa. For Nico, being calm, poised, being in a great platform to be able to deliver the football on time is important. But a part of his game and part of what we need is when it's not right down the football field to be able to, scramble and make plays.
Rob and Eric.
Coach, obviously the magnitude of this rivalry hasn't changed. It still, has huge implications nationally and in the conference. But does it feel any different to be getting ready for this and Nick Saban not be on the other sideline at all?
And this rivalry has been around a long time before Nick Saban.
I love that response.
Or I was a part of it. The magnitude of this rivalry is the historical nature and what it's meant inside of this league a lot.
I love that response.
What makes
it was a great response.
Milrose so tough from a throwing standpoint? Of course, his ability to run.
Yeah, he's been extremely accurate with the football. Been pretty sound decision maker. I think while you're trying to apply pressure to him, right? So those guys, don't have all day to run around on the second and third level. You have to be mindful and not let him escape. His athleticism, when he does escape, is special. And so, you put all those pieces together, you got to do a great job of having rush integrity, getting off a block, making a play when he tucks it.
Coach, on your linebackers without Keenan, how do you think they played in the game the other night? Secondly, with Jeremiah maybe stepping into a bigger role there, how much confidence you guys have in him as a staff with the ability and helmet communication and the ability to communicate everything?
Well, he's played a bunch throughout the course of the season, played, really the entire football game the other night. Everybody's got great confidence in him, but the other guys as well. Defensively played extremely well. Gap integrity, communication was solid. There's a couple of things that we weren't right on. We can clean those things up, but all in all, have great confidence in all of those guys.
Josh, I wanted to ask you about Ethan Davis and where he's at. I don't believe he played at Arkansas and then didn't play much this past weekend. How would you assess where he's at in that room?
Yeah, he's somebody that we plan on using more. A couple weeks ago, structural change. Miles got a majority of it with Holden. We got great confidence in him. We'll continue to play him moving forward.
Brandon Reese.
I know that James has played well all year long, even though the numbers weren't there, but his numbers the last 2 weeks have been there. What's been different for him from a production standpoint the last 2 games?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything different in his effort, strain. There's been a few more times where he's had an opportunity to make the play and he's made the play. But he's played really well all year long. So a couple of huge plays in the game the other night, things that you don't take for granted but expect him to make, and he's played really well. So within the structure of what we're doing, assignment sound, and playing at a really high level.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, I know a lot of people might not view it exactly the same, and it's not the same. Offense and defense are so, dissimilar on their faces, but kind of as a player, when you're trying to execute and you're close to executing, it's like James Pierce was so close at the beginning of the season. It's like, why isn't it quite just clicked yet? He's affected the game at multiple times. He just hasn't had those stat clicks yet. Defense is a little more forgiving for that for offense. So hopefully we can get this offense clicking just like James Pierce got clicking.
Do you think they open things up more? Like, it just seems like, and look, I rewatch the games, I watch the coaches' shows, I listen to so many breakdowns, but it's like, it seems like they are doing more with James Pierce to let him get after the quarterback, like stunts, different things. And there's that level of competition too, probably seeing them, move him around and do different things.
Yeah, it's been helping them. Like you said, against the competition, getting better, you want to be more multiple. You want to throw a lot more at the offense. And, when you're switching things up, when you're going between your changeup, your curveball, your screwball, your fastball, you're going to strike out a lot more batters. And James Pierce definitely has a lot of tools in his bag when it comes to not only rushing the quarterback, but dropping back in coverage and stopping the run. I think kind of adding those quote unquote extra pitches, to his routine is leading to better success for James, certainly.
Did you catch him? I didn't see this. And I think they did a lot of things with him that set up his teammates for success too. I know the sack where Boo Carter got home, James Pierce, he set that up and Boo Carter cleaned it up. But I think it was Volquest was talking that they lined James Pierce up over the center at one point. I don't remember seeing that. Do you remember that?
No,
I did not remember that. I did not remember that at all. Not
yeah,
at
I was
all.
trying to recall it, but I don't think I did. I don't think I do.
Let's see here. West Tennessee VFL for 20. That's an orange boy. We like orange boys around here. We play the clip.
Rocky Top!
So it's a great game for our offense to get back on track. Let's go do this. Go Big Orange. Buck Fama. Man, it really is. It really is. An Alabama defense that's not as good as they usually are, and a Tennessee offense that's looking for life. And I think, man, gosh, we need it on Saturday. We need it. Yeah. I was thinking you go ahead. Because I was going to make.
No, I was just going to say I think red zone execution is going to be really important for this offense. I'll go over it in greater detail in the game day video. Me and Coach Rice break it down. But this swarm nickel D, as they like to call it, is all about defending players in space. It's been known that you can kind of dink and dunk against it. I think Tennessee can take advantage of that and keep moving the sticks. When the field shortens, it's that old bend but don't break mentality. We need to make sure the defense breaks when we get the ball into their territory.
We need to run Nico. We need to run a true read option and let him keep it and do what he did to Iowa in the red zone. That's what we need to see on Saturday afternoon.
I love it. I love it.
Wayne? Good to see Wayne in the chat. Says the Vols need to play their best game of the year on both sides of the ball. You know, if this offense goes out and dominates Alabama, this fan base, we're going to see a 180 in the level of confidence. All of a sudden, this fan base is going to be bought in. Y'all going to be ready to go. Y'all going to be saying Vols by 50. The college football playoff talk's going to be back. I'm telling you, if this offense gets together on Saturday, that's coming. It's coming.
If that happens, guys, Coach Jay is going to be intolerable. He's going to be absolutely the worst to have to deal with if we put it all together. He is going to.
We all should be. We
flinging mud at people. We will all just be the worst of people in the best kind of way.
We need to be just like Ron Slade. Just scream it from the mountaintop. Sean Cross
That's
says you can have a top 5 team at home to make it fair. Sean, you don't want that. Sean, you do not want that on a Tuesday night. You don't want me to have a top 5 team at home. That'll get ugly. It'll get ugly in a hurry. Let's not do that. We'll go back to neutral sites and even teams because that's the most fair way to play. That's the most fair. Look, there's some EA stuff that still happens, but man, you play on the road in that game. It's a nightmare.
Oof, it is difficult. It is difficult, no doubt about it.
Let's get into it. We got a couple more minutes here left on the Heupel press conference. Don't forget tomorrow, tailgate show an hour before kickoff, post-game show immediately following the game, and then fan call-in show moving from Sunday night to Monday night. So Monday night at 7 o'clock, we'll have our regular fan call-in show. No morning show with Kaner. He said he'll probably come on Wednesday and do 30 minutes with me on Wednesday night at 7. Then we'll bring the regular crew on for a regular Talkin VAWLS live show. But I said, dude, you can take the week off. I'm like, you don't have to come on. I was like, I'm the one that's canceling because Coach Jay's coming in town. Like, you can just – he's like, no, Boogie, we have a deal. I will be on your channel at some point in time. So he's going to try to come on here Wednesday night. Big Trey for 3. Must run Nico. His ability to move gets us the dub. I agree, and I hope we see it. And I think we saw a little bit of it. We saw a little bit of it against Florida. Man, oh, man, if he hadn't fumbled that, what does that opening drive look like if Nico doesn't fumble that exchange?
I'll be honest with you, Boogie, it makes my stomach sick. You know what I mean? Like, he was 5 for 5 in that moment. I threw something when it happened. I don't know what the heck it was, but something went flying across the room. We'll put it that way. I was like, where the heck is my clipboard so I can bean somebody in the helmet with it? I was not happy.
Sean, if you're not talking trash, all we did for 2 hours last night doing the offseason on the Dynasty was talk trash to each other. Culberson messaged me afterwards. He's like, do you think people think we were being serious? And I was like, I don't care if they do or not. I was like, that's the VIP access you get if you're a part of the Dynasty, is you get to hear me and Culberson talk absolute garbage to each other for 2 whole hours. And Coach Rice, everybody was talking trash. So much fun, man. If you got a PS5 and you've thought about jumping in the EA Sports Dynasty, now's the time, because we just finished the offseason. We're in the preseason stage. We're going to sit there until Coach Jay gets back and has an opportunity to put his recruiting board together and all that stuff. You can get in, you can pick a team, and you can go to work. And oh my gosh, last night was the most fun I've had in the Dynasty. I had some fun playing against Skitty VFL. I had some fun playing against Culberson, but man, last night was a lot of fun. So I will match your cockiness, Sean. We will talk trash until we're no longer on this planet. Let's finish this thing up.
Who's going to be taking over the green dot helmet communication?
Yeah, haven't finalized that. Could be Arian, could be T. Lander that takes that over.
Austin and Eric.
It's 100% going to be T. Lander.
With you all being so deep on the defensive line and Nathan Robinson doing a little bit the other night offensively, is there a potential for an expanded role for him in a handful of scenarios on the offensive side of the ball just to get him some looks?
Yeah, I don't think we'll expand him to playing a bunch of tight end. That was something that we thought gave us an advantage in short yardage situations the other night, and he and Jackson both performed really well within it.
Josh, from 1 week Arkansas to the next week and Florida, did you see any growth? Did you see any progress made with your offensive linemen?
At times, just not consistent enough. 5 guys operating as one. A lot of times we had 4 operating as one. That's how we clean it up and be more efficient in what we're doing up front.
Josh, not just with, I guess, T-Lander and Carter, but the linebacker position in general now, without Peely available to play, how are some of those other younger guys? Are they closer? Do they just have to be now, or what's that situation like?
Yeah, we've played some of those guys throughout the course of it, have rotated there, and feel good about all of those guys that you've seen in action already. Caleb and Jalen, those guys will continue to play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, everybody.
Man, you really wish Spillman was able to get some run.
I don't know what he's hurt. I don't know what his injury is.
I think they're just being cautious with him, don't you? Overly cautious.
I don't know. He's listed on the injury report, so I don't know how bad it is or when he's expected to be back. I think if he was healthy, I think he would be getting some run.
Sure.
So I don't know. Ashley Allen for 2 says, is Inge an advantage for this game? He has to be some kind of advantage, right? I mean, you coached with Kalen DeBoer. You know what he wants to do on offense. He has to be some type of advantage. Has to be, you would think.
Yep, 100%. He'll have some insights. They'll switch it up enough to where, it's not a crazy advantage, but he'll have some insight. He'll have a couple gems that we can use. I wouldn't put it as like, this gigantic thing that we have, but he certainly will have some insight.
That's our future defensive coordinator once Tim Banks takes a head coaching job. I truly believe that's why that hire was made, and I wonder if that was part of the conversation as well. Friday mornings hit different, man. Hour and a half show. We used to do an hour, but now we talk all day, every day. Tennessee football. That's what this channel is all about. We can agree, disagree, we can argue, we can fight, we can fuss, but we all love Tennessee, and hopefully we will all be celebrating a win tomorrow on the 3rd Saturday of October. Matthew Watson for 5 says T-Lander going to have the game of his life, 27-20 Vols. Yeah, I like T-Lander, and you talk about patting yourself on the back and your evaluations. I think you were pretty high on Jeremiah T-Lander when he committed as well.
Yep. Him and Arian extremely high on Ricky Gibson as well. So, yeah. Yep.
All right, that is going to do it for this one. If you have not hit that thumbs up, smash it on the way out the door. We would appreciate it. If you're catching this on the rewatch, make sure you leave a GBO in the comment section or leave your score prediction, keys to the game, whatever you want to do. The game day breakdown is coming your way here in probably an hour or so, so be looking for that as well. Really good stuff from Coach Jay, really good stuff from Coach Rice. Good old Nate Pruitt drops another 5, says, let's go get this dub. Go Vols, beat Bama. God bless. And go Vols. Shout out Nate Pruitt. I don't think I could end the show any better way. So for Coach Jay, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
The songs, how